Sadanand Dhume joins us now. He is a resident fellow at the American Enterprise Institute, where he focuses on South Asian politics. Thank you so much for coming in. Let's talk about a few topics concerning India. The first being this ruling on Ayodhya. What is your take on how the Supreme Court ruled in this case?
So, this has been going on for a long time, as your report pointed out. As a political issue, it's been around for 3 decades now. In fact, exactly 3 decades, going back to 1989. And I think what the Supreme Court has tried to do is strike a balance between the law and the prevailing political and social reality of India. The fact is that for large numbers of Indians, particularly in the majority Hindu community, which is about 80% of the country, they think of this as this place as, or many of them think of this as a birthplace of Lord Ram, who was a highly revered godlike figure. And then you have the sort of legal questions, which again was gone into your report, which is that the truth is that there was a mosque over there. A mosque had stood over there for many centuries, and it was finally torn down in 1992 by a mob. And so this is extremely emotive on both sides of the issue, where the Muslims feel that they've been dispossessed, and where religious Hindus feel that this is one of their greatest gods and a pivotal figure in the civilization. And why is a mosque on that? Why was a mosque on that piece of land? And so, as you can imagine, what the court has been most concerned about is ensuring that there's some kind of peace maintained, and I think that's what this judgment is driving at.
So given how divisive this issue is, are you surprised at all that there has been relatively calm over this particular case?
Somewhat surprised, but not that surprised, because a couple of reasons. First of all, the government has put a tremendous amount of effort into making sure that things are secure, and there's a very large police presence in places that are sensitive and so on. Secondly, many people, I would say most people, thought this was coming. This was just coming down the pike. I don't think the judgment really caught people by surprise. The things that people may have been surprised by were, elements of the reasoning, the fact that they also had this other package where they said that, well, the Muslims are going to get this piece of land on which to build a mosque and so on. But by and large, considering how the arguments had gone, given the social reality, given the fact that, and this should not affect it technically, but given the fact that the Modi government had come back with such a big majority earlier this year, and virtually no one I know really thought that this judgment was going to go in any other way. So the lack of surprise also, I think, sort of bakes in some of the quietude we've seen after that.
I want to pass along a quote from Modi. He says, quote, "Today's message is to unite, to associate, and to live together. In the new India, fear, animosity, and negativity should have no place." Yet in India, some Muslims actually fear that this decision by the court could suppress them and embolden these Hindu extremists. What do you think about that concern? Is it valid?
I think it's a legitimate concern. The truth is that there are elements in the Hindu nationalist movement, including affiliated with the ruling party, that don't see this as closing a chapter. They see this as reopening basically medieval issues from the past. The fact is that India was ruled for many, many hundreds of years by Muslim rulers, and what some of these people are trying to do is settle the scores of history. And to the extent that that is a dominant factor for these people, I think that the concerns that Muslims have, that look, they're not going to let up, there's always going to be first something else coming down the pike, I think is a legitimate concern.
Really quickly, I'm sorry, we don't have a whole lot of time left to talk about this opening of the corridor. How significant is this, considering there's been so many ongoing tensions between India and Pakistan?
Really quickly, super significant. This is one of the holiest sites for the Sikhs. It's kind of interesting because it goes against the grain. I don't think that this by itself is going to solve India-Pakistan tensions, but it's certainly it's a positive step amidst the gloom.
Yeah, every good step is a good thing towards the right direction. Thank you so much. Sadanand Dhume with the American Enterprise Institute. Thanks for your perspective.